We've already heard the name Bennett mentioned more than once, so rather than me continue to mention it, let's have the video extol the virtues of this great man, and then somebody very special will present. Bob Bennett.
In February of 1981, the New York Times published an article with the headline, "Some Say This is America's Best TV Station." They were talking about WCVB. And that meant they were also talking about Bob Bennett. As WCVB's founding president and general manager, he led the team that built the station from the ground up in 1972, at a time when most stations were content to just supplement network programming with local newscasts. Bob Bennett was packing the WCVB schedule with local programming. Iconic shows like Good Day, the precursor of and model for Good Morning America. Originals like The Baxters and Park Street Under. He gave the green light to Chronicle, America's longest-running locally produced and #1 rated nightly access program. WCVB even produced a feature film, Summer Solstice, starring Henry Fonda in his final role. All originals, like Bob Bennett himself. Bob Bennett was the architect of WCVB, setting the standard for generations of broadcasters seeking the highest level of accomplishment. From humble origins in Altoona, Pennsylvania, he became a pacesetter in Boston television. Bob often said that the team could only run as fast as the leader. When he led, he never had to look over his shoulder to see if his team was following.
We had some superb people, and still have, at WCVB. I think of it as my home.
Bob Bennett, local television trailblazer, built WCVB into Boston's news, programming, and community leader, and a most fitting inductee into the Massachusetts Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
The memory of my days in Boston will last me for a lifetime.
And here to present the award to a member of Bob's family is the woman who personifies news anchor Natalie Jacobson.
You already got the clock there, Jim? Gee. Hello, everybody, and I want to thank the Bennett family for asking me to make this presentation today. There are 3 general managers that succeeded Bob Bennett who are in this room today, and I'm sure they would have appreciated the honor as much as I do. I was driving down the highway not too long ago, and my cell phone rang. The voice on the other end of the phone was a welcome surprise. "So how the heck are you? Do you have a man in your life? I want to know if you have a man in your life that you'll love and take you through the rest of your life." "Okay, Bob." There are a lot of things that you can say about my friend and former boss, Bob Bennett. He's wise, he's fun, he loves to win, and he brings out the best in people. But above all, you can say he genuinely cares about you. As a young reporter in 1972, happy finally to get a job in news, I was already high on life. Little could I dream just how far that rocket ship would climb, how addicted a group of people would become to soaring the universe in search of excellence, and how much fun it would all be. When Bob Bennett took the reins of WCVB, dreams became reality. No programming idea was too silly. No news story was too complicated. If it was right for our viewers, Bennett said, give it a try. And if you failed, you lived to try again. Not only were you not berated, Bob urged you to think what went wrong. Was it the idea? Was it sound? Was it the execution? We learned as much from our mistakes as our successes. And we learned to think big. We were told that was not only accepted, it was expected. What a gift to people like me and so many other talented people that I worked with. For example, Bob asked, why should Hollywood have the lock on motion pictures? So we sent out the word throughout New England, got a script, send it to us. Hundreds of writers poured in. Bob promised to produce a winning script with top talent, and as you saw, Summer Solstice was born. We created the sitcom, Park Street Under, a bar and a subway station, which became the inspiration for NBC's Cheers. Working at CVB under the direction of Bob Bennett was like working in a candy store of innovation. Anything was possible. We churned out programming the likes of which no station in America had ever attempted, then or now. Not in number, not in quality. We looked around and asked, what was missing in TV? Not content to let public television own the kids' market with Sesame Street and the like, we created Jabberwocky. The busing issue was tearing our wonderful city apart. Sound Off was born. We filled the studio with ordinary citizens of the city on both sides of the issue, where the definition of passion was rewritten. People needed a real-life doctor, Welby. House Call with Dr. Timothy Johnson was born. The Reverend turned doctor became a household treasure to this day. Again, the uniqueness of an individual lit the idea lamp. Harvard had this wacky law professor, Arthur Miller. So if the students at Harvard loved learning from him, how about the rest of society? Miller's court was scintillating. New England's unique character and geography would be captured in calendar, later to be chronicle. Boston, the hub of New England, attracted people from all walks of life. The here and now of time was captured live every morning on Good Morning, later Good Day. And the news people needed to know, captured live morning, noon, and evening on our newscasts. There could have been no more vibrant newsroom than that tiny space we called home at WCVB. From the beginning, we became part of the community. That belonging directed everything we did. And the other gift we enjoyed, thanks to Bob Bennett, was his sense of unity. News, programming, engineering, and sales were one team. Belichick took a page from that. People like me and others got to work on programming as well as news. Bennett knew how to keep the newspaper critics happy. He actually sent roses to a critic who never said a nice thing about us. I was incredulous. He said, "Natalie, how many people do you think sent her roses today?" Flatter the enemy. It was a good lesson. Our stockholder was our viewer. Our captain, Bob, encouraged us to move freely among the many sets, if you will, of our life. We each became the best we could be because of Bob Bennett. I like to think our viewers benefited enormously from our creativity, but mostly from our devotion to them, as we saw them as our neighbors. None of this would have been possible without the leadership of Robert M. Bennett. Please join me in welcoming Bob's daughter, Kelly Bennett. And in introducing Kelly, if I just could take a second to say that Bob was asked to receive this great honor many years ago, but he told me that he turned it down, not because he didn't appreciate it, but because he didn't want to leave his wife, her mother, Margie, in California, and she wasn't well enough to travel. So today, we honor him posthumously with his wonderful daughter to accept the honor.
Hi. I want to first say thank you to Bill Fine and the staff at WCVB for putting together that beautiful tribute. It captured him and was moving for me. So I want to thank Peter Brown, Bert Peresky, and everybody associated with the Massachusetts Hall of Fame for honoring him. I am here. I wish he was the one standing up here, but I really believe his spirit might be here with us. I believe in that. I'm here on behalf of my mother, Margie, who cannot travel, but she was his partner in everything. My brother, Casey, who's continued in television production himself. And I think most importantly, my son, Brandon, because he lost the greatest grandpa ever. My dad loved television. It was always on in our house. And with each station that he managed, he had such a passion for it, to achieve things that had never been done before, to give it the highest quality, especially at WCVB. You know, for example, when they made that movie, Summer Solstice, their own movie, that had never been done before by a local station. Dad would tell me this story. The first day on that film, they were doing a scene on the beach with Henry Fonda and Myrna Loy. And after the scene was completed, the crew picked up their cameras and equipment and started running down the beach screaming. So Henry Fonda says to my dad, "What was that?" And Dad said, "Mr. Fonda, I believe what you're seeing is enthusiasm." And Fonda said, "I haven't seen that in 40 years." So it was a very exciting time in those days. I like to say that I believe my father's greatest quality was his ability with people. He made a connection with everybody at the station, asked them questions about their lives, and as a result, he would inspire everybody else to do their best work. And that's one of the reasons they accomplished so much. I think my father was so likable, funny, charismatic, and definitely the best leader ever. So thank you for honoring him, celebrating my father. I love you, Dad. A lot of people love you. Thank you.